Well, it was just a ding dong. I was like, oh, okay. Cool.
Awesome. Do I need to open up those case studies at all?
I've got them in my thing.
Did you have a chance to watch them?
No, I couldn't. I wasn't able to do that. But I don't think we need that for the purpose of this.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
I put together.
Hold on just a second. I'm trying to find my notebook.
Yep.
We just did the launch, and so.
Yeah, clearly. I'm sure things are.
Sorry. I already know this is a bad idea. I'm just putting it on loose paper, but whatever. Okay.
Well, okay. I'm recording it, and I know I've had trouble sharing it on Dropbox in the past, but I figured out a new system that's working a lot better. So,
great.
Get this video anyway. So what I was thinking, first of all, you've got 3 videos of this woman.
So I've got a longer one from what Gary shared. I've got 3 interviews that I've done, and then, 3 interviews I've done over the last 3 years basically with her. And they all kind of tell the same story, but I know the story that I want to use her for now a little bit stronger. And so my last interview is a lot better. And then the one with Gary, she has some great, good quality audio bites. And then the 5-minute thing he did was just hi, my name is Jess. And I'm like, no, we're not starting with hi, my name is Jess. That is not how this is going. So that was just his quick, I made an edit for 5 minutes or a 5-minute video out of the hour and a half I talked to her.
Yep.
And so I know it's missing some of the things that got to me when I was listening to it.
Okay. Yep, the 5-minute version is definitely going to do that. Is this Gary, the same guy Ryan Levesque uses?
Yeah.
Nice. I like Gary.
I love Gary. Yeah, when I was he's like, do you have a copywriter? I was like, yeah, kind of. He's not really doing all of it for me. I wish he was.
Okay, so do you want your case study just to be a 1 hour-long video, or do you want it? I think I showed you the way I did it of the text and then video.
So we need a couple things.
Okay.
This is my vision for the case studies.
Okay.
I actually need 3 different types of text. I'm going to need an email case study, so long form basically. And it doesn't have to be as long as the ones that you've made, because I don't really know that people are going to listen to it or read it. They might, but so I need kind of a longer form email and maybe a page on her or whatever. And then I need a 5-minute video, 3 to 5 minute video that tells her story. Kind of, I know when we asked you before if you knew what StoryBrand was, you said no, but you know what Hero's Journey is. So basically, just kind of doing Hero's Journey type of stuff. And then I need short copy. And then I need a 1 sentence that I'm always that I can pull out at any drop of the hat and be Jess, who X, Y, and Z. So I want to have those 3 different things at the go for at least 6 of my people.
Okay, you said a 3 to 5 minute
video
Hero's Journey, and then the 1 sentence. Was there something in between that? You said a short piece of copy?
Just a few sentences, maybe. Maybe what might be
an elevator pitch kind of thing.
Video, or just short. What might be in a webinar, a short little thing about her.
Okay.
But not the full story. And I have some of that already from the webinar. She's the same person that was in my webinar, the Walking on Eggshells to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who she implemented the framework, and within a week and a half, they were at rock bottom, and then her son was doing the framework to her and telling her how to calm down. So full circle.
Yep.
so I have some language, I have some like headlines, but that's what I want for each person.
Okay. What do you have for her so far?
I was trying to find that before I grabbed it. So what I'm going to struggle with is I have these beautiful recordings. So with my video for her, I actually have a kid. He's only 16, but he shot some great photos from our thing. He definitely, we got what we paid for, but he still is really good for being young. And he's going to go shoot B-roll for her, or of her. And so if we can write the story and then I just say, okay, go shoot her with her kids, go shoot her doing this, like, and then I can throw that in and we can make, I don't know if did you see the case study video that Ryan did for me?
No, but I saw one he did for somebody else recently.
Yeah. So that style.
Okay.
But obviously we can't afford to have those nice ones done.
Yeah. But those were, I mean, that was you narrating it, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to do that here?
It wasn't. Okay, so the guy came and shot for 2 days straight, and then he just basically, like, he shot us B-roll, basically, for 2 days around the house and around the town. And then we interviewed for an hour and a half, asking all the questions, and I can get Jess over to my house at any time and get audio sound bites. And then they just edited it. They edited the like 2 hours of an interview or the hour and a half of interview down to make it tell the story they wanted it to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, it sounds like I narrated it and that was the story I told, but it was like, I had no idea that's what they were going to tell.
Yep.
So, and that's what I kind of want, where it sounds so seamless, because people have seen it and they're like, you told such a beautiful story. I'm like, I didn't tell that story.
Yeah. Yeah. Making it that seamless is
that really hard?
Yeah, like that. Did Gary do that? Did he do the cutting on that?
No.
Yeah, like that's. I think you're going to need a really good editor for that.
Okay.
Is basically what that comes down to.
Okay.
But
also, even if the editing's not that great, but it's just, but if I know how to pull the right things out and like basically take her whole script that she said to Gary and then cut and paste it so that it flows like Hero's Journey, I just don't know the best way to do that.
Okay. The best way to just cut out what she said and paste it in so it's into more
like the things that are going to really sell it as a good case study.
Just trying to think of a good example to send. So what exactly is the struggle there with being able to pull out what you need to create? Like, you know the Hero's Journey format. So what's kind of the struggle? Is it just like having the time to go in and put insert struggle here?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm too close. I don't think I'm too close to the story, but I just don't know. Maybe I already know the steps and I just don't realize that I know the steps here. Like, is it basically just revving it and then pulling out the good one-liners, or I don't know.
Not just.
And then is there like a format to? I know the idea of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a format. I think one of the struggles I'm kind of going to guess that you have, that I know I have when I do case studies, it's like there's so much good stuff, you just want to say all of it. So you kind of got to know that like there's going to be a ton of amazing stuff that does not make this 5-minute video. And getting really clear. So one helpful way to think about to really help you get narrow is there like a big win moment, like when she talks about her results of like, this was incredible, like this was kind of the like climax of the story. Is there a moment like that?
Yes. Okay.
Focus on that. Like that is the main like crux of your story. So then it's about, okay, what led to that? Like then you go to the beginning. What was the initial pain that led her to start looking for help. How did that help not work until she found you? And then once she found you, she didn't have immediate success. She did some things, had some wins, some losses, and then what made things come together. So really focusing on that's your finish line, and then
Which part's the finish line? The big moment?
the big moment, yeah.
Do you mind watching it with me? Just the 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I gotta find it. Do you have it available right now, or?
Probably, yeah. I've got your drop. So it's a 5.
I just opened up a new Zoom call. That's not what we need. I clicked the wrong thing.
Nope. I have all these. I have Jason playing guitar. I don't know where that came from.
That's funny. Okay, no, she's in there. She's Jess. So Jessica Flynn.
Yep. Okay. Here, I can screen share it and play it on mine.
Okay, I'm gonna mute it for a second, and then you know what? If you hear something, will you just pause it and be like, "This, pull this out" or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work for sound.
Can you not hear it?
Pretty much was told it was our parenting. My parenting specifically, it was devastating to hear. It was very emotional. I was emotional. So I was dealing with this really aggressive, absolutely just more than I could handle. And told that it's you. That's horrible to hear.
So far, this sounds awesome.
Okay.
Is there?
But just don't start with the "My name is Jess." I just feel like starting with "My name is Jess" is not the hook. Do you have a formula you follow? Or you don't usually do video?
No, I mean this stuff works. This makes sense if you just kind of try to dive. You can do that too. It's usually a little harder. If you just try to dive into the dramatic moment as the hook, it's people don't really know the context, so they can get just a little lost and confused, or just I don't even know who this person is. It does, having a little build up can be helpful. So I think this way is fine.
The ones that I've seen that I've liked, they share you get this little glimpse of a story, and then you get the logo of what's happening, right? Calm the chaos or whatever, and then then it's "My name is so and so, and this is me," and then they start telling the story.
Yep. I'll go. Let's watch the rest of it. We might be able to do that with the part where it's the teacher told me it was my fault.
I think that there's one part too that says, you know how they always tell you I don't know, you're supposed to be able, when you can say things that your reader wants or your audience needs that they don't even realize that they think that, right? So she says something in this that is just gut wrenching that no one wants to admit. She says, "I didn't like my kid." And that's huge.
That's huge. I don't think that would work at a beginning point.
No, I think she was okay. No, yeah. I know. Hold on. Yeah, just listen to the thing. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Doing research, I saw an article that was called, "Is it sensory or is it language?"
And my course isn't really about sensory, so I don't know if it matters.
No, it's just how she found you.
Okay.
Fine.
Before. I had never heard of it before. So I messaged the author and Christina. there, she directed me to her support group and just started following. When I joined the community, the first thing that was reassuring or helped me was that there was anyone in kids and people, my parents who were struggling. They were doing the same behaviors that we were. It was reassuring and it was kind of exciting realizing that he was, he was actually just, these were normal behaviors because he was wired, is wired differently. We kept our own struggles internally, even my family. So suddenly we found this whole I suddenly felt like I understood a little bit better. I wasn't doing anything, he wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just something we could connect with the assured capabilities that it wasn't me that had ruined it. And just, I think that's probably the biggest thing, and that's something for me. This is such a horrible thing to say, but something I like myself, and I can like myself. One of the biggest things that people, that I talk to other people in the community, and that I found was the name so she is completely in the trenches with us. She has her kids, her struggles, and she's just trying to share. Even through the training, even through the articles, she is always very upfront. She's like, so I think that for me, that's the part that if she can do it, then too. And she makes her trainings and her courses I love personally because I'm not an expert.
See how it's like, I feel like it's more like a testimonial than it's about her journey.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. Like, her journey is actually, and he cut out a lot of the journey part. He tells more of the testimonials part. So her story is that she found me. Like, she thought that something was not right with her kid. She went to the doctors, and the doctors told her it was her fault. Yeah. So, like, that's the start, right? Like, everyone told me it was my fault, that I was doing it wrong and I was a bad parent.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the start.
And that's in there. I don't think she mentions going to the doctor. I know she talks about the teacher, which I think is fine.
Long version.
Yeah. So I think that part is driven home well. So I think the intro is good. And then the part about how she finds you is good. Yeah, where it starts to fall off the rails is it should be talking about like what she learns and how she implemented it. Instead, like it was really weak to be like, I found this community and then that helped me relate better. It's like, I don't buy it. Like, not with. I know a lot of the struggles these people are having. Like, the problem isn't just I need a friend on Facebook. Like, more concrete. Like, I learned this, thing for like if you can mix in unique mechanisms there, awesome. I learned
the framework is huge. Like
Yeah, perfect. Mix in the framework. And talk about like how she used that, and even and what those results were like. Like, even I would say they don't have to be perfect off the bat, but you want it like, okay, she used a little bit, she got a little win, then this like big problem came up, and then she used this other thing, and then she got that big result. That was like whatever the crowning moment.
And that is her story. So that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the right track. So that is what happened. She went through the training when it was in like early stages. She implemented some of the stuff, and she can pinpoint which ones they were. And then, things got better for a little while. And then she got complacent and she quit doing it, and she quit doing some of the things that she had learned. And everyone got lazy and kind of like not paying attention. And she said that it got so bad that they were ready to seek a real professional. And she was like, we figured we were going to just do one last ditch effort, because what did we have to lose? So we sat down and we wrote out the framework on one sheet of paper. that Dana teaches, and we decided what we were going to say, what we were going to do, and how we were going to react the next time our son had a meltdown. And that was the moment that everything changed. Like, she tells that story.
Yes.
And that 1.5 weeks later, she was yelling at her daughter, and her son said, "Hey, Mom, I noticed this is happening." Right? So, but he didn't tell that story. And so I just wanted to make sure I'm on the right track. That's the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing like a fine sort of like elongated testimonial. What you're doing more of a hero's journey.
Yeah.
And so, which I think if you're going to do 5 minutes, yeah, do that.
Okay. Yeah. I want I'd love 3 minutes if I can cut it down enough. So I'm just looking for little pieces that are going to stream that together.
Mhm.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And then how do you end, so then I tell about her son, blah, 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 and then basically kind of her wrap up of she says it in just a minute. Parenting doesn't have to be hard. That would be a good, good reminder. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Good, little summary.
Okay. And then okay. Okay, so I think I understand that. Do you have Hero's Journey written out anywhere, or I could just follow? I think I have it. I think I know it. I think I'm just second guessing myself. I've got it. I know I do.
Yeah, I can write you out a quick synopsis of it.
Yeah.
At least the way I do it with case studies. The way I do it is a little different, because proper Hero's Journey, it's and then they find a thing, and it's it kind of gets a little technical that I think distracts from what's really important.
Okay.
So I can send you, kind of how I view the Hero's Journey in case studies.
Okay.
It is very similar, just not exact.
Okay. And then when you got on this call, what were you thinking you needed to teach me about case studies so that because I've got to turn this into a long form, and then what's going to be the best steps here for moving this forward and getting the most out of you?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking you would want more written out with smaller pieces of video. I know that's kind of the point of that is for the skimmers, so they can see basically the highlights just in the subheads and get the story. Then they're sucked into the video. Then they're sucked into the whole story. So that's what I was going to basically teach you. That was my plan.
Go ahead and you can teach it to me. I mean,
okay. Yeah.
But it works with this video, with doing the video too, and then the way you're going to do it, right? Or
yeah, actually, that is one way I used to do case studies. Is there would be kind of the 4-minute video on top, and then the story below, and then the full 60-minute interview at the bottom. And the story would have little pieces of video in it, so it was kind of you had everything right there.
Oh, wow.
Kind of pick and choose whatever is their style. They get the short version, they get to read it. 'Cause some people just would rather read. I know I'd rather read than watch video. And yeah, the long videos, some people would want to just get the whole thing. So that's there.
Okay.
We can get to that in a sec. I just want to make sure I'm covering. So what do you have for the sort of elevator pitch for who she is?
So so each of my people need to be, I'm not very good at elevator pitches, by the way, but she's a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
She describes herself as anybody, right? And she even says that if I can do this, anyone can.
Mm-hmm.
She uses the phrase, "I'm no one special. I'm a nobody. I'm just a stay-at-home mom."
Yep.
That's her phrase, not me saying that about her, because I think being a stay-at-home mom is a big thing. But that's, she's she has 2 kids. She, lives in a suburbia. She's educated. She used to work in, for a law office before she had kids. She holds down the fort while her husband works, basically. Her oldest son is the one that I describe. I mean, all kids are super kids, but we have the one kid that's just ultra super. That's a little harder than other kids. So her oldest one is the challenging one, and her younger one is the one that was getting forgotten.
Okay. Is there anything like of what, she sees herself as the normal everyday mom? Introducing her as like, the stay-at-home mom, who, and then something around the transformation her son made could be one way to talk about it.
Okay.
The stay-at-home mom with a, kid who continued getting in trouble and who she was able to like help turn around in some sort of like concrete way.
Okay.
The stay-at-home mom who finally.
I would say that she thought she was failing. Like that's where she started, and I don't know if that
Ooh.
matters. But she was the stay-at-home mom that thought she was failing. She didn't feel like she was holding the house together. She didn't feel like she was taking care of the kids. She didn't feel like she could handle the behavior. She thought she was the cause because even the teachers and the therapists or even the teachers and the doctors said it was her fault.
Yeah, that's a powerful one. Who felt like she was failing as a mother.
Okay.
I
think that's like the most relatable one to my.
And that feels powerful.
Okay.
Like, yeah, Jess is a stay-at-home mom who felt like she was failing as a mother. Is there, and then, so what exactly, like, her son was,
so his behaviors were out of control. So he was constantly hyper and getting in trouble at school, not listening. I think that he was physical. So I think that he was hitting and kicking. I mean, you've read the DDS. He was classic example of the stuff you read.
Cool. Yeah. So that's okay. I think that's.
I know. So it was like the dad thought that he was just being a boy. So It was just like rough, not listening, that kind of stuff.
Okay. I think that's a cool point. I don't think it's warrants the elevate 10-second pitch.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. So Jess is, the stay-at-home mom who felt like she was failing as a mother. Her son was hyper, always getting in fights at school. Everyone told her she needed to be a better mother, like that it was her fault. Then she discovered how to use the, whatever framework, and now her son is stopping fights instead of starting them.
Okay.
So yeah, like sort of a little identity piece that sort of shows that she's either at the same level or like at a disadvantage. Like, if she was a single mom, you definitely want to say that. If there's, anything else might, I think like the mom who felt like she was failing is fine. Something to like kind of create empathy and relatability. Then the struggle, and then something she discovered in the result would like be a nice, quick way to introduce somebody.
Okay. So for each person, I can kind of do identity piece, the struggle, what they discovered, and their result.
Yeah, I think that's a good blueprint to use. You don't have to stay married to it, but it's definitely something to fall back on.
Okay.
Because then you can get it down to like 4 to 5 sentences, maybe even less.
Okay.
Really, yeah. In general, the shorter you can make it, the better. It's the more punchy.
And that's what you would consider like the lead in to like meet Jess. Jess was a stay-at-home mom. She thought she was failing at everything, even that, like blah, blah, blah. And then click here to watch her story or whatever. And then they go over to watch the full like 3 to 5 minute video or something. Like that's maybe the email.
Yeah. That could be like the piece in the email that gets them to click.
Okay. And then to write the full story on the page, that's a different formula, right? Or that's just full hero's journey?
Yeah, that's full hero's journey. And there you're basically like, you write out the story and then you use quotes to kind of like hit emotional parts along the story and video to elaborate. So like you can talk about like, oh, she was, a mom who, her kid kept getting all these troubles and she didn't know what to do. And then a quote being like, I went to the teachers and they just said, be a better mother. And then you just kind of have the full video that it embellishes that even more. It kind of recaps, but also just gives more context, more kind of stories, more talking about like maybe the moment that she was in a lot of pain or something. The stuff that would just be a lot to fit in text.
Okay.
And you basically just do the hero's journey formula through that. So, you start with the struggle. That's the first section. Like, what was the pain? What was the, the desire, the goal she wanted? And like, why did this matter? Like why do they need to escape the pain? Why do they need to get to that goal? Then you move on to, how she found you, the stuff, she tried these other things before. And then she felt skeptical about you, and whatever reason she decided to go with you. And the detail you include there kind of depends on the story. I think it was told well the way Gary did this. And again, like I just keep the same formula of how she found you. Yeah. And basically, like I do the same formula for each one. So it's like a subhead is like the quote that sort of sets the context for the paragraph. So like the first paragraph, like the quote describing like the pain she was in, like I felt like a failure as a mother would be a great subhead. Then you give some context with writing, then a quote to like really drive home the emotional pain, and then a video where she introduces herself and talks about that pain.
Okay, wait. So I felt like a failure, and then like kind of the sentences about it, and then the final quote would do what?
The final quote like drives home that pain. So it would be like just something like powerful that she says. So it could be the thing about like, yeah, I went to the doctor, I went to the teacher, and they told me to be a better parent.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then a little video.
Yep.
And how long are those videos?
They can be from 30 seconds to 2 minutes is usually how they come out.
Of just that part.
Yeah, so it'll be like, if you have the video where she introduces who she is up top, then she doesn't really need to introduce herself there. But yeah, where she's talking about the struggle. Yeah, just the struggle section.
Okay. And then you go into the next section.
Yeah. So then the next section would be how she found you. So that's kind of like the other things she was looking at, the doubt she had before joining you, and what made her pull the trigger. And again, that is told through like give some, writing out the context a little bit of like, oh, she tried these things, and then like a quote to drive the point home, and then a video.
Okay.
I'm just embellishing that section more.
Okay.
Do you want to run through the next section?
Sure.
Just keep going through this. This is basically what I was going to teach you anyway. So then...
You'll write this out, right? I'm writing it out, but you have it written out or no?
Yeah, I think keep writing this out. I've got something I can send you after, but I think you having it your way will also be helpful.
Yeah, my little drawings.
You just have a picture of a duck there. You're like, I wasn't really listening.
This is what I was doing. I was just doodling.
All right, so then you want to start getting into like
So
then she joins the thing.
Hold on, this is the so this is the struggle, the first one. Sorry, and then this is you find a guide.
Yep.
Okay, and then the next part.
Then the next part is the lessons she learned.
Okay.
So now we're getting into like, okay, the key things she learned. If you can include unique mechanisms here, awesome, do it. In fact, I know you can.
Does it start with a quote too, or no? It's just like story.
Yeah. Subheads. I basically will start every section with a subhead. That's a quote.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how I always do it. Sometimes, yeah. That will kind of
just started. Okay.
Yeah, because like they capture attention. They're kind of different. and they can describe the thoughts going in their head.
Mhm.
These are the subheads. These can often be the thoughts going on in their head, or can be like a mini testimonial. We haven't really got to that. Actually, in this section, they can be a mini testimonial. It can be like, maybe something like, oh my God, it was so much easier than I thought, or something. Because then that kind of creates curiosity into what they learned. So yeah, for the next like 2 section, you'll want to do like teaching pieces where it's like, okay, she learned a thing, she applied it, and you don't necessarily have to talk about like the results in too much detail, but just like her talk, like the quote can be like, yeah, I did this thing and I felt so much better, more confident. Like you're not really getting to the big results, but you can sort of show that she's good along the way. Yeah.
Kind of moving along. Is there supposed to be any ebb and flow of like, ooh, it's getting better and then it's not getting better?
That's exactly where we are right now.
Okay.
So she joins, she learns something, it helps, and then a disaster hits. Or,
Okay.
And that can be like her own self-doubt. In this case,
the
it's
next
perfect.
section.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this. I have got this, man.
Yeah, you do.
I think I know this more than I think I do.
That sounds accurate.
All right.
Yeah, so, and that's good. That was a more advanced thing that I actually wasn't planning on teaching you on this, because I was like, yeah, that might be too much, but like, yeah, sort of keeping the, things are good, then they're bad, then they're good, then they're bad.
Okay.
So yeah, then you introduce the struggle, and then the other thing that she implemented from you that.
So is the new struggle, the disaster, a whole section with the video thing, and then there's a new learn, or is it struggle learn in one section?
Struggle learn in one section.
You see what I'm saying? Like if I've got them like subhead text, quote video, then subhead, like, so they learn this, she learned this one thing, and now she's at disaster strikes. And then that's a whole section though, right? Yeah.
So sometimes I'll make it 2 different sections if it makes sense. I'll probably use one video for those 2 sections. Just because, like, you just don't need that much.
Yeah.
And it kind of depends on like what you have for video to work with. But yeah, like sometimes all the teaching stuff can be one. So like the first lesson, second lesson, and the disaster strikes can all be kind of meshed
together. Okay. Yeah.
Or sometimes it can be 2. Kind of just depends on like how it's feeling. Like if it's feeling like the section is dragging on, then do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So then you introduce, something else. And ideally you want to have this also tie back to like her, original doubt or fear, original struggle. Yeah.
So feeling like failure. And now she had more confidence in her parenting. And then she kind of got complacent and wasn't paying attention. And so she started feeling doubtful again. And she thought she needed a therapist.
Yeah, that fear of failure came roaring back.
Yeah.
That could be really good. Yeah, and then you go into the results of, so she learned it, she applied it, and then I'm just trying to think of a results section for this would be if you can describe, like for this it would be describing kind of getting into that moment. So usually for the results section, you'll want something that's like a sort of tangible result of like, here's what actually happened in the real world. He went to school and didn't get a detention for a month, whatever it is. And then the more internal thing of, I was feeling more confident. I finally felt like, or I was able to love my son again, like that, exactly that.
And I will edit out the part where she says this seems bad to say, right? I'm just going to make it be, I was able to love my son again. Like, you don't need that extra part, do you? Is that?
I think it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Also, I think it's good in this context because there isn't a lot, like, you don't set the stage earlier with her being like, I kind of hated my son. Although that could actually be a powerful thing.
I have another person. I can't get her to do a case study. Hers is powerful.
Yeah.
Like, hers was literally, like, she won't do it, though, yet. And so I actually, like, broke down in tears today on our training today because her daughter came on the training. And her daughter said, Mom, they need to hear our story. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I lost it. And then I lost it. And then I look at the Zoom call and everyone's crying because then I was like, you hit a chord. Like, this is my why. So then I started talking to her daughter. Her daughter's Fiona. And I was like, Fiona, you're why I do this. And I started, like, going into it and, like, yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. All right. That's a new goal for me. I got to cry on more of these Zoom calls.
No, it's all so embarrassing. The whole team has, like, a hashtag for me now. When I went to Tribe, one of the videographers that I've never met before walks up to me and she was like, you're Dana, right? And I was like, yes, how do you know that? And she's like, well, I work on the team that Sam came and did your video for Ryan. And we've been working on your case study for so long. Like, I know your story in and out. And she was like, you know, I just have to thank you. Like, we were all that kid growing up. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't really know what story he's telling with my case study. Like, I don't know what I said, you know? And she just, like, patted me on the back. She was like, hashtag Dana cry. And then she walked off and I was like, oh my God. Like, even the videographer knows. Like, all of them. It's a thing. It's just they know. Yeah. So anyway.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you end it with, like, I was able to love my son again. And then do you put that thing about, like, parenting doesn't have to be hard? Or is that, like, moved up somewhere at the beginning where she's, like, realizing that it didn't have to be?
No, not at the beginning. That could be.
I meant in the, like.
Oh, yeah, like for the results section, that could be a subhead. It also could be a quote that sort of drive it home.
Okay.
Probably, yeah, I like it as a subhead. I think the quote would probably be something around
loving your son again.
Yeah,
right?
loving your son again.
And believing in myself or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then, or you could even maybe roll it over to the next section, which the next section is going to be kind of like, what's the future like now? Like, now that she's had that big result, like, sort of show that she's at the next level where, you know, before she's worried about, you know, all this stuff, she's having the struggle, and now she's like, what's the next thing she's looking on? She's like, you know, we're getting ready to get him on the soccer team or something, and we never thought we'd be able to do that. Just a little peek into how, you know, how life is, like everyday life now.
Okay.
And then I also like to include after that a little.
Run out of paper.
Yeah.
I knew this was a terrible idea.
Yeah, it usually is.
I usually write it in a notebook.
So then after that, you can either do the call to action, you know, and then you can tie it into the unique mechanism. Like, you can learn what this and a whole lot of other things, like, you know, just click on this page and learn more. So
it's probably going to be either to go listen to more stories. If she's going to be the first one, probably just because I have her done. Yeah. But it's going to either be to sign up so that they get notified when because there's going to be a free training, right? There'll be the whatever. Okay. That's
great. Yeah. Sign up for free training. I think that's a wonderful way to end them.
Okay.
So you can either go straight to that, or as a little buffer that have the, like, you know, here's what she says about people thinking about working with Dana. So basically the stuff that was like minute 2.5 to 4 of the current video, that would all fit at the end of, like, you know, if you're in it, just be like, you know, she has a message for other people in a similar situation. Here's her overall thoughts of the process, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's as important when you're first building it, or is that something that's more important that kind of goes in testimonial section? Like if you're building a sales page or like the big, is that more about like why you should join the program? And so it's outside of the case study stuff, or?
I don't think it's outside of the case study stuff. It's kind of like their own recap.
Okay.
With you of the journey.
Okay.
And just sharing more of, the experience of working with you.
Okay.
Which is what a case study really wants to help them feel.
Okay. Okay. So what is the best way moving forward for us to work together and build these and get these done? I mean, I know I'm doing the work. So what are we going to be doing on our calls, or is it just going to be different pieces of the launch moving forward? Like you gave me kind of the framework for a case study. So unless I get stuck, I might not need you, right? Unless you're going to like read over them and just be like, yeah, you could do this for conversion or whatever.
Yeah. We can basically book out calls. And you can bring either the case studies if you want a second set of eyes. If you think they're fine. Then, bring up either if you want launch strategy help or going over the launch copy. So
I think it's more launch. So strategy, I think we're pretty solid on.
Okay.
Like
awesome.
I feel really good in our ability to launch. I don't feel good in my ability to drive home my message.
Okay. So we can just go over the copy.
Okay. Yeah. And like the bullets you used from the beginning are still the same for this because it's still the same program. But now they're probably even stronger. So I don't know if I should be doing because I now have we have like 87 people that went through the program now. So like, I don't know what I need to be pulling out. So that might be stuff like if we have a chat where you're just like, you're going to need these things, yes. I kind of just need that. Like, I know how to launch. I know the stages of the launch. We have old copy from different things, but now we've grown so much. And I just think I need outside eyes to be like, this part's really good. Let's add in, go find this piece or something.
Yep. That's exactly one of the things we will do on the copy calls.
Okay.
Like if I'm going to see something and be like, this needs a testimonial to back it up, or like, this is a great part for a story or something.
What is the best order to do? So my launch date's September 24th. So I want to give you that date. We are working on getting a calendar of like the whole thing. My goal, I think our goal is to have that by the beginning of August, is us figuring out what our calendar is. Because I actually have to start my mini videos on Facebook, because I'm going to be doing little connection videos and sending those out just to build the audience. But I don't think I'm going to have any problems with that part. That part is, I'm good at building an audience.
Yeah. You can talk about your values and your why, and you got that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I just cry and I'm totally good.
I just cry and people subscribe. I don't know.
It's what I do. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry and subscribe.
All right. So if you can think of if you were doing the launch yourself, what would be the step after getting the case studies ready?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the outside, what people see of the launch, that part I'm good at, but it's hey, you should be working on your sales page right now, or, hey, Dana, you got your testimonials ready, or do you have your elevator pitch for the company? I can't even elevator pitch our program. I'm not that great at that. I need some help with that. So.
So I generally work backwards. I do sales page because that sets the foundation for everything leading to it. Sales page, PLC scripts, then emails.
Okay. We've been wondering about that. We were wondering if we should start with PLC scripts. So you're saying sales page first, then PLC scripts.
That's how I like to do it.
Okay. Because then you have everything you need.
Yeah, like, because then you're, like, for me, because it just gets me more clear on, like, the offer and, like, the target that we're kind of aiming everything at. Because that's where, like, you're really going to make sure you're clear on, like, getting clear on things like an elevator pitch, positioning, overall hook, big idea, and then
Maybe that's what we start with
extrapolating
next
out.
then, on our
Yep.
next call. Are you
Okay.
good with that?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Because I think that the way we broke this down, I have my little chicken scratch. If you have it written out after this call, like that would be gigantically helpful, but I know it's not something we agreed ahead of time.
Hold on, I have it. Actually, I'll send it over Facebook.
Okay.
And I included some examples of cases
Awesome.
I've written.
So I think it's easy to follow once I get an example for my people. You know, like I'm going to do this one, and I'm really good at hearing the things that people are saying, but they don't know where to put it. And I think if I can show that, you know, like Jason, this video and the way, like a picture, and be like, this is what we're doing, okay? And then, once Jason knows what he's looking for, or someone else on the team knows what they're looking for, I think they can help me pull it out, and it's not just a bottleneck of me trying to do it.
Yep. Yeah. So, like, basically just getting clear on this journey means you can, like, know what to tell other people on your team to go pull out.
I hope.
Which I think, I mean, we got pretty clear on what the story is.
I think we
seems
did.
like you're just like, hey, remember that time she said this thing? Go put that.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, and so then I'm going to go ahead and just get in my head that next time we're going to start talking about the things that are needed for a sales page.
Yes.
And then it helps me if I know ahead of time the things that you're going to need ahead of time.
Yeah, send me the sales page you had.
For the beta, right? Yep. Okay, we can totally do that. Sorry, the ice cream truck's going by. They go by at like 9 o'clock at night. It's ridiculous. Okay, sales page.
Yeah, and I mean that's the program you're launching, right?
It is. It's like the offer's different, of course, because now it's not a beta. And then the sales page is pretty close. And I don't think we're going to raise it to $9.99 yet.
We'll see. We'll see after our talk.
I don't know. I don't know if we hit a price ceiling in our market. Yeah. I just don't know. And I would rather it be a no-brainer, and it's still not going to be a no-brainer at $4.99 or whatever, but like I'd rather it be a no-brainer and us love on them, and then they stay part of our community in the membership afterwards, and then they join coaching or whatever. Like I'd much rather that happen.
Yeah, that's fine. You can always raise the price.
Yeah.
Later.
All right. I think that's good then. And so next you just have to tell me dates. I know you're going out of town tomorrow. I'm going out of town tomorrow. And then I'm in Kenya from the 21st until August 1st.
When's the 21st? Oh, wow. You're in Kenya for a while. Until like August 1st.
Days. It's 10 days. So we may not be able to do another call, but I might be able, like, I don't know how.
Yeah, I could do the 20th.
Oh. Okay.
I
got a 24-hour flight, so us doing something on the 20th would not be terrible, because then I would have like, hey, I need to get clear on this.
Yeah. Actually, let me just double check. And my flights then. I have a data figure out my.
You are also mega world traveler right now.
Yes, I'm trying to put an end to that, but it's hard.
You're putting it into?
All right, let's do the 20th. What time?
Wow. Okay.
I think I'll be on Mountain Time. Something in the afternoon, like 3 p.m. would be ideal for me.
You're like asking me to look at a schedule like really in advance. Okay, calendar. So it's a Friday.
And I can stop the recording.